Most business websites today are painfully slow, not because of bad hosting, but because they're overloaded with unnecessary frameworks. In this video, I'll show you how to build a fully professional, lightning-fast business website using only HTML and Modern CSS. No frameworks, no libraries, no JavaScript required. By the end, you'll have a clean, responsive homepage that loads almost instantly, ranks better on search engines, and is easier to maintain for years. This is how modern high-performance websites are being built in 2026. In Part 1, you will build a business website homepage with the navigation bar, hero section, why choose us section, and services card. In this first part of the series, we're going to build the complete homepage of a professional business website from scratch. By the end of this video, you'll have a responsive navigation bar, a fluid hero section, and a clean services layout, all powered by Semantic HTML and Modern CSS Grid. There will be no frameworks, no templates, no shortcuts, just native code that delivers speed, accessibility, and long-term stability. This foundation project will also prepare us for parts 2 and 3, where we'll transform this into a full production-ready business website. If you're new to web design, don't worry, we'll build this step by step. All you need is a code editor and a browser. By the end, you'll have a professional homepage you can use for real clients or your own business. This represents exactly what we'll build in this part together, a website that loads instantly, is accessible, fully responsive, SEO-friendly, and framework-free. Let's start by setting up the project structure and creating the semantic foundation of our site. Before we start building, let's set up a clean project structure that keeps our code organized and scalable. Exactly how professional websites are built. Since we're not using any frameworks, our setup will be simple, lightweight, and fast. Choose any text editor you prefer, Sublime Text, Vim, or Visual Studio Code. I am using the VS Code editor. Follow through as we set up the folder structure. Go to a base folder, say Desktop, and create a folder named Business Site. This folder will contain everything for our homepage. Inside the Business Site folder, create the following files and folders: index.html, a CSS folder, and styles.css in a CSS folder. Then the images and assets folders. So, we have 2 files and 3 folders. Separating files this way makes the project easier to maintain, scale, and deploy later, especially for real business websites. The folder structure should look exactly as follows: Business Site, index.html, CSS/styles.css, images, and assets. With the folder structure in place, let's start building our website. First, let's create a simple HTML boilerplate. This will give us a modern foundation for the website. I have provided a file that contains all the HTML and CSS code step by step. Download this file using the links in the description so you can easily copy and paste each code block for each step. Open index.html. Copy and paste the following code. In this code, the doc type at the top tells the browser that the file is an HTML5 document. Meta tags provide extra information about a page to browsers and search engines. For example, the viewport tells the browser that the site is responsive on mobile devices. So, browsers can match the page width to the device screen and scale it properly. The link tag is used to connect external resources to the page. Here, we used it to ink the styles.css file. It tells the browser to load this style sheet and apply its styles to the page. We use this to separate styles from structure to keep the code clean. So, everything in the head tag is instructions for the browser, not content for the user. Open the styles.css file, copy and paste the base CSS code. Browsers have their own built-in default styles, and they differ across Chrome, Firefox, Safari, etc. A CSS base reset strips away those inconsistencies so you start with a clean, predictable foundation. This means your design looks consistent across all browsers. The above CSS code removes default margins and padding and ensures elements size themselves more intuitively. It also sets a clean, readable default font and text color for the whole page. Save the above files and open the index.html file in a browser. If you are using VS Code, press Ctrl plus F5. We now have a clean, blank canvas ready for building a professional website. Notice how simple this setup is. No installations, no dependencies, no waiting for packages, just pure web technology ready to go. Now that our project is ready, let's start building the semantic foundation of our business homepage using modern HTML. Now, before we add any styling to our website, we'll build the structure using semantic HTML. This is the backbone of high-performance websites. Semantic elements help search engines understand your content, improve accessibility for assistive technologies, and reduce the amount of code needed for styling. Do the following. 1. Open the index.html file. 2. Within the body tag, enter the following tags. These tags are the page landmark structure of modern business homepages, and they are useful for accessibility and SEO. The header is the introductory section of a web page that usually contains branding like site logo, navigation menus, and sometimes a call to action. Screen readers and assistive technologies recognize header as a landmark, making it easier for users to jump directly to the top navigation or branding without scanning the whole page. A well-structured header helps search engines understand the site's hierarchy and main navigation, improving crawlability and indexing. The main contains the primary, unique content of the page. That is, the unique information that distinguishes one page from another. Screen readers expose it as a main landmark, enabling users to jump straight past repetitive headers and nav bars. Search engines prioritize content inside main because it signals the primary subject matter of the page, helping with relevance and ranking. The footer sits at the bottom and typically holds copyright info, secondary links, contact details, and legal disclaimers. As a landmark, it allows users to quickly locate important information at the bottom of the page, such as site credits or accessibility statements. Footers can reinforce site structure with internal links, provide consistent metadata like business info, and improve crawlability by giving search engines additional context. Now that you know, let's build the header and navigation of the website. Copy the following HTML code and paste it inside the header tag. In the above code, we used the nav, ul, and li tags to create a navigation bar because of their huge benefits for browsers, search engines, developers, and users who rely on assistive technology. We can create a navigation bar with the div, a, and span tags, but they describe nothing. But semantic elements like nav give meaning to browsers and search engines. List elements like ul and li provide logical structure, and together they make your navigation more accessible, user-friendly, and SEO-friendly. Next, let's build the Hero section with the following code inside the main tag. The Hero section is an important section that communicates what the business does and its value proposition, anchored by a primary call to action. In this example, the headline and supporting text speak to speed, modernity, and a professional, technology-forward approach. Still inside main, below the Hero section, copy and paste this code. Using section and article helps us organize the web page visually and make it more accessible and search engine friendly. Section is used to group related content under a thematic heading. Here, our services is a distinct topic, so wrapping it in a section makes the page more organized and semantically clear. Article is meant for self-contained pieces of content that could stand alone. Here, each service, web design, development, consulting, is a distinct offering that could be read independently. So, article is the right semantic choice. Still inside main, below the services section, copy and paste the following code. This section is a trust building and conversion tool section. It answers the visitor's question, "Why should I pick you over competitors?" It highlights unique value propositions, builds credibility, and nudges potential clients toward taking action. As in the services section, we continued using the section and article tags. One item to notice is the HTML character entities that represent Unicode characters, e.g., and hashtag 9733. We use them to create icons for the why choose us reasons. The format is always in hashtag plus a number plus. The browser converts them into the corresponding Unicode character / emoji at render time. To find this code, search online for HTML entity for icon name, e.g., search for HTML entity for settings to get and hashtag 9881. Finally, add the following code within the footer tag after the main closing tag. We now have a fully structured homepage built entirely with semantic HTML. However, there's no styling yet, but it's already meaningful and accessible. A strong HTML structure ensures your content is organized, semantic, and accessible, but there is no design, just plain. We'll use CSS to add style and design, such as colors, fonts, layouts, spacing, animations, and responsiveness. Now that our structure is complete, let's bring this layout to life using modern CSS Grid and responsive design techniques. Now comes the exciting part, turning our semantic structure into a professional layout using modern CSS. We'll use CSS Grid, flexible spacing, and fluid typography to create a design that looks great on any screen size without relying on any frameworks. First, let's create CSS variables. Open your styles.css file and copy and paste the following code under the base reset code. CSS variables allow us to maintain consistent colors and spacing across the site and easily update our design later. The above code defines CSS custom properties, variables, inside the root selector, making them globally accessible throughout the style sheet. The variables store reusable values for primary color, text color, background color, maximum width, and spacing. These can be referenced anywhere in the style sheet using var, variable name. With variables defined, let's style the header and navigation section. Copy and paste the following code immediately after the CSS variables. The above CSS styles a website header and navigation bar. Header sets a background using a CSS variable and adds a subtle bottom border to visually separate it from the page content. Nav centers the navigation content with a max width constraint, then uses Flexbox properties to push the logo and links to opposite ends. It uses align items, center to vertically center them, and keep the layout clean and balanced on any screen size. .NAV removes default list bullets and applies flexbox again to arrange links horizontally with consistent spacing. .NAV strips the default underline from links and applies a theme color and medium font weight. This helps to improve readability and gives the NAV a polished, professional feel. Flexbox does the heavy lifting for both horizontal and vertical alignment without extra hacks. It thus gave us a clean layout through space between, auto margins, and gap spacing. Now, add the following code under the header CSS. This CSS styles a full-width hero section with a cover image, a darkened overlay, centered readable content, and a prominent call to action button, creating an engaging landing page banner. The clamp function sets a font size that adapts to screen width, ensuring text is readable on small devices while scaling smoothly on larger screens without breaking layout. Using text-align, center, and a max-width container keeps the hero content visually centered, making the headline and call to action the focal point regardless of screen size. The .CTA button styling, bold color, padding, rounded corners, makes the primary action stand out, guiding users toward engagement. Now, let's style the services section with the following CSS. This code creates a clean, responsive services section where cards automatically resize and reflow to maintain usability and aesthetics on any screen size. The magic line is grid template columns. Repeat, autofit, min-max, 250px, 1fr. This single declaration handles all responsiveness without a single media query or framework. The layout isn't told when to reflow via breakpoints. It figures it out based on how much space the content actually has. Copy and paste the following CSS to style the Why Choose Us section. Just like the Services section, this CSS block styles the Why Choose Us section to look modern and responsive. It creates a centered heading, uses a flexible grid, auto-fit with min-max, so the image and reasons adapt to different screen sizes, and applies clean card-like styling with icons, headings, and descriptive text. Overall, it ensures the section visually communicates trust and professionalism while remaining accessible and responsive across devices. Finally, let's apply this minimal style to the footer section. Now, save your style sheet and open your index.html file in a browser using any device of your choice. Notice how the layout adjusts naturally. This is the power of modern CSS. We achieve this entire layout without frameworks, libraries, or JavaScript, just native web technologies. Our business homepage is ready, but it is missing something: the images in the Hero and Why Choose Us sections. You can choose any image of your choice for both sections, either your own office picture or a downloaded stock image. If you'll prefer a stock image, then visit any of Unsplash or FreePic websites to search for and download a suitable stock image for both sections. Save the image for the Hero section with herobg.jpg and the image for the Why Choose Us section with whychooseus.jpg. Finally, place both files in the images folder inside the main business site directory. Once the images are in place, reload the browser to confirm that they display correctly on the homepage. Though we can stop here, we need to polish the user experience with subtle interactions and finishing touches to make this homepage feel truly professional and interactive. Our homepage already looks clean and professional, but great websites go further. They feel responsive and interactive. In this final step of Part 1, We'll add subtle enhancements that improve user experience without sacrificing performance. Add the following CSS to styles.css. This CSS creates a smooth underline animation on navigation links where a line grows from left to right on hover. This is purely achieved through transitioning the width property of A after pseudo-element from 0 to 100%. The result is a polished, professional effect that feels intentional and refined without a single line of JavaScript. Next, let's apply an interactive effect on the call to action button. Copy and paste the CSS. This code adds a smooth hover effect to the call to action button, making it lift slightly and cast a subtle shadow, which draws attention and gives the button a more interactive, polished feel. Micro-interactions provide feedback and make interfaces feel responsive. Similarly, add this CSS to add interactivity to the service card and why choose us reasons. Finally, to improve navigation when linking to sections on the page, add this code. This last CSS is used to encourage consistent spacing across sections of the page. It adds equal spacing above and below each section, creating consistent breathing room and improving readability across the page layout. And just like that, we've built a complete, responsive business homepage using only HTML and modern CSS. No frameworks, no libraries, and no JavaScript. This foundation is fast, accessible, and ready for real-world use. In Part 2, we'll expand this into a full business website with additional sections like About, Testimonials, Pricing, and a contact form while still using native technologies. If you want to see how this evolves into a complete business website, Part 2 is where things get even more powerful. To follow through, subscribe, like, comment, and share this video.